Join us right now with her takeaways to everything that she saw. Natasha Sarin, Associate Professor of Law and Finance at Yale University. She was previously a Biden administration Treasury Department official. We've been talking to folks on both sides of the aisle this morning about their reaction to what they saw. I'll ask for your initial reaction just on the broad piece of it, and then let's maybe get into some of the details of what you saw.
Well, thank you so much for having me. And I think what you saw yesterday, and you saw it sort of starting off the bat, the first question was on the economy, was a really fundamentally different vision for the future of America. You have Vice President Harris, who's emphasized that she's keen to create what she calls an opportunity economy. What that means is investing in families, investing in small businesses, creating pathways to wealth creation and opportunities for Americans. And it's a pretty positive message that I think you saw her turn to again and again last night that I hope resonates with the American people. On the flip side, you saw former President Trump, who has a less positive vision for the future of America. And he has an emphasis on, and again, turn to it right off the bat, his vision for the economy is tax cuts for the very, very top and a very, very substantial middle-class tax increase in the form of tariffs that would translate to thousands of dollars of additional taxes for the average American family over the course of a year. So again, I think those are just fundamentally different visions, and it's ripe for a lot of debate about the substance of particular policies, but we shouldn't lose sort of the big picture that these are different candidates who offer a different vision for the world.
Natasha, there's no question that is the case. I think there's a bigger question, though, about the lack of details, frankly, by both candidates in certain respects. But also, I was going to say, not just the details of the plans of how they plan to spend money, but how they plan to balance budgets, how they plan to deal with the deficit. None of those issues, came up at all. But they don't come up, forget about the debate, they don't come up in any context. And at some point, the math just doesn't make any sense.
And to sort of make your point for you, Andrew, the word deficit came up once in last night's debate. And so I totally agree with you. And I think this is a place, frankly, where I'm keen to see more detail from both candidates. I will say that we're in a campaign, and, you know, this is an election that is about much more than economic policy, although economic policy is sort of central to what voters care about and are concerned about. But you do, even with respect to the deficit, have a really different picture when you're comparing Trump and Harris. Harris is committed to and has been explicit that she is keen to pay for these necessary investments that she wants to make in American families. And she's outlined exactly how she would do that. If you look at the Biden budget proposals they offer, which she's embraced, they offer a different view for how we think about taxation of large corporations. She would increase the corporate tax rate. They offer a different view for how we think about taxation of the wealthy. She believes very deeply in capital tax reform, though in a different way and more moderated relative to Biden's previous stances. And so there are real revenue raisers here that she's keen to tap into to pay for the types of investments that she wants to make. If you look at Trump, he has been explicit that sort of core to his agenda is tax cuts. But other than tariffs, which are a middle-class tax increase to the tune of $2 trillion over the course of a decade, he has no pay-fors. And that's a really significant problem.